The wind moved slowly across the dry plains, brushing against the tall yellow grass like invisible fingers, carrying dust, heat, and the echoes of stories long forgotten. And in the middle of that endless western land stood a small wooden farmhouse, lonely and quiet, owned by a man named Elias Harper, a farmer who had chosen solitude over the noise of towns and the cruelty of men, a man whose hands were rough from years of working the soil and whose heart had grown silent after losing his family to sickness years ago. And on this evening, as the sun bled orange across the horizon, Elias noticed something strange near his fence line, a shape that did not belong to cattle or coyote, a figure crouched low as if hiding from the world itself. And when he walked closer with cautious steps and a gentle voice, he saw her, an Apache girl no older than 17, her long black hair braided tightly, her skin streaked with dirt and tears, her dress torn and dusty, her chest rising and falling fast with panic and pain. And when she lifted her eyes to him, they were wide, dark and full of desperation, and she whispered with trembling lips, "Please, it's too big, I can't bear it anymore." And those words were not only about pain in her body, but about the weight in her soul. And Elias knelt slowly so as not to frighten her, keeping his voice low and calm, asking her name, asking what had happened. And through broken breath she told him her name was Naya, that she had run for 2 days and 2 nights from men who had burned her village, men who had taken her people and left her alone in the world. And now she was carrying something she did not understand, a life growing inside her that she had not chosen, a burden placed upon her by violence. And her voice cracked as she begged him to make it stop, to take the pain away, to save her from something she felt too weak to face. And Elias felt something awaken in his chest that he had not felt in years, a sense of purpose, a sense that maybe he was not finished with this world after all. And he wrapped his coat gently around her shoulders, guiding her toward the farmhouse, offering water, bread, warmth, and safety, while the sun sank low and the stars slowly appeared like distant witnesses. And inside that small wooden home, Naya told her story fully, of laughter once shared around fires, of songs sung by her mother, of brothers who ran beside her through the tall grass, and how all of it vanished in one night of fire and screams. And as she spoke, Elias listened not only with his ears but with his heart, feeling her grief as if it were his own. And when she finally stopped speaking and simply cried, he sat beside her in silence, not rushing her pain, not trying to fix what could not be fixed, but simply being there. And in that quiet moment, something changed for both of them, because she realized for the first time since she fled that not all strangers were cruel, and he realized that even a broken heart can still shelter someone else. And as the fire crackled low and the wind whispered outside, Naya fell asleep from exhaustion, and Elias watched over her through the night like a guardian, wondering what fate had brought her to his door and what he was now responsible for. And deep inside he knew that this was no accident, that this meeting had meaning beyond coincidence. And as dawn arrived, painting the sky with soft pink light, Elias felt a strange calm, the kind that comes when life gives you a reason to stand again. And while Naya slept, he whispered a promise to the empty room and to whatever higher power might be listening, that he would not abandon her, that he would help her bear what she could not bear alone. And that promise would soon be tested in ways neither of them could yet imagine. And if you feel the depth of this moment, the pain and hope carried within it, remember to stay with this story and subscribe to the channel, because this is only the beginning of Naya and Elias's journey. The morning light crept softly through the farmhouse window, warming the wooden floor and touching Naya's face. And when she opened her eyes, she was startled for a moment, forgetting where she was, until she saw Elias sitting nearby, sharpening a small knife for farm work, his movements slow and careful. And when he noticed she was awake, he smiled gently, offering her warm water and bread. And she hesitated before accepting, still unsure whether kindness could truly exist without a hidden price. But hunger and exhaustion overcame her fear, and as she ate, she began to feel something unfamiliar, safety. And over the following days, she stayed on the farm, helping where she could, feeding chickens, sweeping the porch, learning the quiet rhythms of a farmer's life. And slowly her breathing calmed, her shoulders relaxed, her eyes stopped darting at every sound, and yet inside her the storm still raged, because the burden she carried was still there, growing silently, reminding her daily of what had been done to her. And one evening she finally broke down again, collapsing on the porch steps, sobbing that she could not carry this life, that every heartbeat inside her felt like a memory she wanted to escape. and Elias sat beside her, not pretending to know her pain but acknowledging it, telling her that pain does not disappear by running from it,
only by walking through it with someone else.
And he spoke of his own losses, of the family he buried, of the loneliness that followed, of how he wished someone had stayed with him when the world felt unbearable. And for the first time, Naya did not feel alone in her suffering, and she asked him what she should do, and he did not give her commands or judgments, only choices, telling her that her life still belonged to her, that no one had the right to decide her future except herself, but that whatever she chose, she did not have to face it alone. And that night Naya lay awake listening to the sounds of the farm, the wind in the grass, the distant call of an owl, and she realized something had changed, that while her pain was still there, it no longer completely owned her. And in the following weeks she began to speak to the life inside her, not with love yet, but with honesty, telling it that she was afraid, telling it she did not know if she was strong enough. And in doing so she slowly reclaimed her voice, her power, her identity. And Elias watched her grow not just in body but in spirit, and he felt a deep respect for her courage. And one day when a group of men passed near the farm, rough men with hungry eyes, Naya froze in fear. But Elias stood firmly between her and them, his posture calm but unmovable, and in that moment she understood what protection truly meant. Not force, not control, but presence. And when the men left, Naya cried again, but this time not from despair, from relief, and she realized that her story was not only about what was taken from her, but about what she could still build. And when she finally stood before Elias one morning and said she wanted to try, not because she was no longer afraid, but because she refused to let fear define her future, he nodded with quiet pride, and he told her that strength is not the absence of pain. It is the decision to move forward despite it. And as seasons changed and the farm bloomed with life, Naya's heart slowly did too. And she learned that healing does not mean forgetting. It means carrying memory without letting it crush you. And one evening, as the sunset painted the sky with gold, she thanked Elias for not turning her away, for not seeing her as a burden, and he thanked her for reminding him that even the loneliest places can become homes again. And as their story settled into the earth like seeds waiting to grow, it became a reminder that compassion is stronger than cruelty, that hope can rise even from ashes, and that no one is truly alone if even one person is willing to care. And if this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness still matters in this world, then please remember to subscribe to the channel, so more stories like this can be shared, because every story is a bridge, and every listener is part of the journey.